Hello everybody, MM53 coming at you again. This is going to be a video that probably won't be really exciting, but hopefully it will be informative about my experience with Vivint. I'm going to start from the beginning and try to make this as brief as I can. I bought this house that I'm in about 18 months ago, going on 2 years. The reason I went with Vivint is the previous owners had that system already installed. I had a sky panel, which is the panel that operates everything. I had a motion sensor and the glass break sensors and the door sensors and windows, and all that stuff was pre-installed. So that was one reason I went with them. So I called them up and wanted to talk to them about setting up monitoring and putting cameras up, because that was mandatory for me. So we had a lengthy discussion 2 different times with the sales rep at Vivint. And we went over some things about how it was going to save me about $1,500 because of the stuff I already had, and that they could come out and add cameras to it and everything. This is an important fact here. They said that they covered everything. If anything should happen to any of the cameras or any of the sensors or anything, even if a hurricane knocks them down or a bird takes off with them, whatever the reason is, as long as they have the majority of the parts to it, you can't just say it disappeared, that they would replace it for me. They would replace the product, they would take care of the installation, and there would be no service charge. And I asked them this in different ways about 3 or 4 different times on both conversations, and they assured me no charge. Okay, remember that, please. So I have the tech come out, he hooks everything up. He's a nice guy. He didn't really, I kind of wanted the cameras in a certain location, and he explained why he would put them in other locations. And well, I figured he's a professional, so we went with what he thought. I had 3 cameras put up. One was on my garage, which is detached, just behind my house off to the right, front porch, and on the side of the house, opposite the garage, and that should cover everything. So he hooked it all up, did everything, explained how it all worked. He was good with all that. He was very polite, and he left about 6 hours later. Everything's working okay. About 10 days later, well, exactly 10 days later, I take a shower to get ready for work, get out of the shower. I look out the little window. It's in my bathroom. I can see my garage. My garage door is halfway open. I'm like, what the hell, man? You know, this is early in the morning. Asked the wife if she went out there. No, she didn't go out there. So I get dressed real quick, grab my pistol, go out to the garage to investigate, and there's about $1,000 worth of tools and a car stereo I hadn't installed yet that was in the box sitting there. Some guys just grabbed what they could grab, the small stuff, and ran. So do the police report and everything. I called Vivint, talked to them, kind of upset. Actually, I'm really pissed because, you know, the alarm system never went off. The sky panel in my house still says everything is armed and everything's okay, but you know, no alerts, no sirens, no nothing. So when I called Vivint, I explained to them what happened. They send a tech out. They put the wrong sensor on the garage door. I'm not going to get into all the different things, it'll take too long, but they put the wrong one up. They put a new sensor on the garage door. It's the door that lifts up and down where you pull your car in. The sensor that was on the door for pedestrian use, I guess, that sensor was correct and it was up and working correctly. So they replaced that. I called Vivint back, you know, still real upset here. It's their fault. My stuff got stolen, the alarm didn't go off. I think it's, you know, their fault. Their fault that it wasn't caught, that the alarm should have went off, you know. Well, they say there's nothing I can do, claiming on my homeowner's insurance. Didn't want to do that. I'd only been here, you know, less than 60 days. They gave me 2 months of free monitoring, about $100. Well, $110 or something. That's all I could do. So it is what it is. All I could do. But I did have them come put a new camera out. And because it was in the first 30 days, I think it is, or 60, you could add things to it, because Vivint is one of the companies that you can finance everything through them with no interest over like 5 years. So it is cheap. Because the cameras cost me, like, you know, for the 4 of them, and the extra stuff I had was about $2 grand still. So just moved into a new house, didn't have to fork out the money out of pocket. That's a really big plus for me. So they came, put this new camera up, tacked it on my bill, and I wanted this in a certain location. I'm a little more forceful now. The tech didn't want to put it there. He was trying to talk me into another location that was on, just underneath the eaves on my house, shining at the garage, so I could get a good view of the garage. I didn't want it there. I wanted it above the back door, up nice and high, where I can get of my garage and my whole backyard. And he's like, well, what's there to steal in your backyard? And finally I told him, hey, I'm paying for this. I'm the customer. I want the camera there. And if I said it politely, but I mean, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. I'll just call another tech and we'll get somebody to put it up where I want it. So he reluctantly put it where I wanted it. And that has turned out to be a great location. Because my cameras didn't pick up the guy breaking in my garage because it was all in the shadows and you couldn't see the side of my garage, just the door. So all you see is a split second of him breaking a lock off by the back of his, you see the back, he has a hoodie on, see the back of his head a little bit, and he ducks under the door. Now you can see my whole backyard. You could if it worked. The sky panel is supposed to hold 4 cameras, or be able, you can operate with 4 cameras. Well, maybe it's supposed to, but it doesn't. At least mine didn't. After I did that, they kept dropping offline. I would have 1 or 2 cameras working. I had to reboot the system every day. I never had all of my cameras working for more than about a 24-hour period. The techs, I'm going to try to make this shorter. Like I said, I've been in this house less than 2 years, about 18 months. I've had the techs out to my house, not counting the first installation. They've been out here 17 times. 18 if you count the first time. Because of problems trying to get these cameras to work. They're here for about an hour, they reboot things, they leave. It works for 2-3 hours, it's not working again. Well, what ended up happening was my panel just went dead. It froze up, it went black. Now, this is after about a year of having the system. 8 months, about 8 months. So I called them up, they brought a new panel and hooked my cameras up again and all that. Well, same problem, cameras aren't working, I'm calling techs. One time, the first time, they had me go up there on my garage and turn the cameras off and unplug them and reboot them and do all this stuff. It took me 45 minutes. Of course, none of it worked. Because every time you call their tech department, they want to walk you through steps. I don't do steps anymore. It takes too long, it doesn't work, screw that. They need to come fix their stuff. Then they're telling me they're going to charge me because it's after I'm backing up a little bit here, but when I was calling the techs, they were like, well, it's going to be a $50 service charge. It's after your 90 days. So I go, oh no, I've already talked to the guys. This is all supposed to be free, like I told in the story at the beginning. Anyway, Vivint does record their phone conversations, and they told me they would review those and get back with me. They did within 24 hours. They said I was promised free tech service. So they did honor that. So I do get tech service coming out to my house at no charge. I would recommend paying for that service or getting it somehow if you go with Vivint, because you will use it. Okay, so back to my panel going black. So they put up a new panel, hooked up my cameras, whatever, same problems. My panel does it again. I come home one day and my panel is not responsive. What it is, when I would pull it up, that screen was just black, or like a dark gray. It would say unresponsive right here. So I call them up and they bring out another screen. This one's reconditioned because they don't make the sky panel anymore. They've upgraded it. And the gentleman told me that I'm probably going to have problems with my cameras. This guy was good. I'm going to call him Bob. I like Bob. He was a computer nerd and he was honest with me. And he said, when you run 4 cameras on this system, it maxes it out. It's like driving a car 150 miles an hour all the time, 24 hours a day. You're going to have glitches, things are going to happen. I recommend that you upgrade to the next panel. I call Vivint. They won't let me upgrade. They want to charge me $450 for another panel. I explained to them this panel's not working and the system should be up and running. They say, sorry, you got to pay for a new panel. I'm not willing to do that. They put up, another, Bob puts up the regular sky panel again. And, well, I come home one day and my screen is that dark gray again. I can't get my alarm to go off or disarm my alarm. I come in my house, I call Vivint, tell them that I couldn't turn it off with the app on my phone either. As I'm talking to them, my alarm starts going off. I guess the sky panel kicked back on. So as I'm talking to the lady and the alarm's going off and I'm explaining things, they walked me through how to disarm the system here and how to take it apart, which I did. And now, so I don't have a system. So when I'm on the phone, I tell them I want Bob to come back out to my house, and this is their last shot. I had talked to a lawyer at work when I was out smoking. I had run across him and explained the problem I was having, the company attorney. And he said, that's a no-brainer. I can get you out of your contract. I can probably get you reimbursed for some of your money. Don't worry about it. Just if you want to get out of it, let me know. And call them up. If they don't let you out, give them my number. I'll take care of it at no charge. He's like, it's very simple. So I call Vivint. I tell them, well, I've called them because my panel wasn't working when the alarm wouldn't go off. And I also explained to him about how I talked to a lawyer, and I said, this is your last chance. I want Bob to come out. I want this stuff fixed. If it's not up and running, I'm pulling it out. Well, you can't do that, sir. You have a contract. Well, I told him what my lawyer said. And anyway, I guess they could fight it out if it went that far. They told me they can't guarantee Bob can come out. I said, no, I want Bob. The other guys, and I don't want them at my house. They just argue with me. They don't want to put things where I want it. You know, at first I did everything they wanted to do, and that didn't work. So then I was getting forceful on things I wanted. Well, sir, we can't guarantee Bob. What we can do is we'll set you up with an appointment. And they did. They gave me the gentleman's name. I had to call Bob. I have Bob's number. I have all my text numbers because they come out here so often. So I call Bob up, tell him, hey, this is the tech, whatever. Bob calls the tech. He switches with them. Bob comes out to my house. Because I told Vivint, you send anybody else but Bob, I'm not letting him in my house. You're just wasting your time. They're not coming in because they're useless. So Bob comes out. And Bob looks over my system. And he's like, you know, got to put another panel up for you. He's like, I got good news and bad news for you. Bad news is, I couldn't find any more of those old sky panels in the warehouse. Good news is, I guess I'm going to have to upgrade you because if we don't have one of the old ones, and this is all we have, you know, we got to get you running. So Bob upgraded me with the new panel, which they wanted to charge me $450 for. Bob also hardwired my system. My system used, when the cameras were hanging where they're at, and they plug into the wall, you know, they have to have some type of electricity running to them. And they would plug into, this is the only picture I could find of somebody selling one on eBay. They have that little antenna on it because they work through the internet system. Well, what Bob did is he hardwired my system. And now I have these, which has that little wire running out the bottom, and it plugs in the back of my modem. And it's supposed to go through the wiring of the house so the cameras operate off of that. And now my system works. I had went round and round with Vivint to fix things. I had had horrible experience with Vivint. I always make it clear to the person I talk to, it's not them, it's the company I'm upset with. Don't take it personal. Because I started off very nice and got gruffer, I guess, as things went on, until finally I was just honest with them. I'm sick of your company. It's sucking. Just get this shit working. Sorry, but it's the way it was. You get one good person in the company can make a big difference, and Bob took care of me. If it wasn't for Bob, I wouldn't have Vivint now, because this, let me pull my app up, because this stuff works just like it's supposed to. It's nice and fast. Before I would do this, it would take about 15 to 30 seconds for it to go through. My cameras would take about 15-20 seconds to pull up. Now they're pulling up, you know, as you can see, really quick here. Everything is working just like it's supposed to. If you're having problems with your stuff falling offline and things not working, don't let them tell you it's your internet company, because they kept telling me it was my internet was too slow. My internet is 3 times the speed of what Vivint recommends. I had my internet people come out here and check it all again. They put up a new modem for me. They were great. It wasn't my internet. They came up with all these other excuses. It was their system. So I would highly recommend being nice to your tech and asking him his opinion on things, because this is my new panel, if you're not familiar with it. Oh, I was like, well, it's going to stop working. I didn't hit it hard enough. But as you can see, everything works just like it's supposed to. And it's nice and fast. The old Sky panels had buttons down here that looked like these little buttons, but were down here. Now they're on the screen. But this is the new panel that hasn't been out very long, and it works great. It has this little green light when it's disarmed. It turns red when it's armed, so you'll know. It's like a little night light. You can turn the light off. My tech told me if you don't want a light on. I like it. It's in my hallway. It doesn't bother me a bit. But anyway, I just wanted to give you my experience with Vivint. I'm trying to make this short, but I had horrible experience with Vivint. It sucked. There was no other way to put it. Until Bob came out, upgraded my stuff, and took time and checked everything. Has some little laptop plugging it into all the cameras, plugging it into the panel, checking all the connections where they plug in the walls. He took his time, and he knew what he was doing, and he was a computer nerd, and I love this guy, and if it wasn't for him, my system wouldn't run. Bob would be the 5th different tech that's been out here. All the rest of them did the same thing. Reboot the system, make sure things were plugged in, maybe unplug something and spray it with some electrical cleaner and plug it back in. They were good, I guess, with the hardware. Bob was good with the software. I hope this might help you if you've dealt with Vivint, or if you're thinking about a home security system. I don't know if other security systems are like this or not. This is my only experience with one. It's been a horrible experience up until now. My system's been up and running for about a month now because of Bob, and I've had no problems, nothing offline. Everything works very quickly and very responsive. But if it wasn't for Bob, the system would be gone right now. And another reason I put up with it for so long is my homeowner's insurance. I get a big discount yearly off of it. So my monitoring service, I'm really only paying about $150 a year because the rest is discounted through my insurance. Or I wouldn't have put up with it this long. I would have ditched Vivint a while ago. And I would have probably never went with them if the system wasn't already up in the house to begin with. But anyway, I hope this might help you. But like I said, it was just a horrible experience of this shit never working for a year and a half. Never working. Never had more than 2 or 3 cameras up at a time. A lot of times they had no cameras up. I would go a week and nothing would come up. Rebooting it, you know, I'm doing all the things they tell me to do because their tech was busy and couldn't get out here for 2 weeks. My system just didn't work. There was a while I couldn't even the inside stuff wouldn't work, like my motion sensors or my window brake unit things that are up there, you know. But now it's all up and running. Thank you, Bob. I'm calling you because I don't want to get you in trouble for upgrading me with all this stuff and not charging me any additional money, which I don't know if that's something that was supposed to happen or not. But thank you, Bob, and I hope this helps you out. If you get a system, make sure you do not get a Sky panel, you get the new panel. Make sure they hardwire your cameras in. Make sure they check your internet, check everything before they leave the house. And be very persistent with them on what you want. And make sure you get free coverage, free tech service, free everything, or it will kill you at $50 every time they come out. Thanks for watching this video. I'm leaving it up on full 32 because I believe anybody that owns firearms should, you know,